first story is The Lost Child. It was the festival of spring. A colorfully dressed crowd of men, women, and children were all going to the village fair. Some walked, some rode on horses. Others went on bullock carts. One little boy ran, brimming over with life, and laughed to keep pace with his parents. "Come, child, come," called his parents, as he lagged behind. Attracted by the toys in the shops at the fair, he hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their calls, his eyes still on the toys. He could not control his desires, even though he knew well the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. "I want that toy," he begged. His father looked at him angrily while his mother was tender and giving him her finger to catch. Said, "Look, child, what is before you?" The faint disgust of the child's unfulfilled desire disappeared when the pleasure of what was before him filled his eager eyes. The child could see many footpaths full of people. He felt at once afraid of and attracted by the confusion of the world he was entering. At the corner of the entrance there was a sweetmeat seller, calling out, "Gulab jamun, rasgulla, burfi, jalebi." The child stared, in his mouth watered for the burfi that was his favorite sweet. "I want that burfi," he slowly murmured. But he half knew that his request would not be heeded. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it. The child was carried away by the rainbow glory of their colors, and he wanted to have them all. But he knew his parents would say he was too old to play with them. So he walked on further. A juggler stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket. The snake raised its head in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan. But he knew his parents had forbidden him to hear the music of the jugglers. So he proceeded farther. There was a roundabout in full swing. Men, women, and children were laughing and shrieking madly as they went round and round in it. The child watched them, his lips parted in the amazement, and a pink blush of a smile came on his face. This time the child made a bold request, "I want to go on the roundabout, please, father, mother." There was no reply. He turned to look for his parents. They were not there ahead of him. He turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat. And with a sudden jerk of his body he ran from where he stood crying in fear, "Mother, father." Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. He ran to one side first, then to the other, not knowing where to go. "Mother, father," he cried again and again. Every little inch of space in the fairground was crowded with people. The child might have been crushed underfoot, had he not cried in a loud voice, "Father, mother." A man heard his cry and, bending down with great difficulty, lifted him up the arms. "How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you?" The child wept more and cried, "I want my mother, I want my father." The man tried to comfort him by taking him to the roundabout. "Will you have a ride on the horse?" he gently asked. The child's throat tore into 1,000 sobs. "Listen to that nice music, child," he pleaded when they reached the juggler. But the child shut his ears with his fingers. "Would you like a balloon?" he asked lovingly. But the child just sobbed. "What sweets would you like, child?" the man asked. The child turned his face away from the sweet shop and only sobbed, "I want my mother, I want my father." Second story is Ivan. Ivan was a farmer who lived in a village in Russia. He was rich. He had 3 sons who were laborious. His father was old and sick. Gabriel was their neighbor. They were good neighbors. They were happy and comfortable with each other. Ivan had some hens. One day a hen flew across the fence. She laid an egg in Gabriel's house. Ivan's daughter-in-law went to his house to inquire into the matter. Gabriel's mother replied rudely. It led to a quarrel. Soon, Ivan, Gabriel, and their wife started quarreling. Their neighbors had to intervene to pacify them. But their quarrel did not stop. Ivan uprooted Gabriel's beard. Gabriel went to court by bus, but Ivan went there by train. They both filed a case. The hearing prolonged. It ruined them financially. They had no peace. They were not happy now. Ivan's father, who was old and wise, did not like it. He asked them to forgive each other and forget the old dispute. He asked them, why are you quarreling over an egg? What's its value? Hatred breeds hatred. In anger you don't know what you are saying and doing. You lose your patience and wisdom. You know that leads to destruction. The old man's advice worked. Ivan and Gabriel became reconciled. Now they began to live together in peace once again. They were very happy now. Third story is Krishna and Sudama. The story of friendship between Krishna and Sudama is very popular. Krishna and Sudama studied together. Krishna was rich while Sudama was poor. Still both were great friends. They were always seen together. Time passed. Krishna became the king of Dwaraka. But Sudama's condition remained pitiable. His wife and children had to go to bed without meals very often. Unable to bear with pitiable condition, Sudama's wife said to him, you always tell us that Krishna, the king of Dwaraka, is your friend. Why don't you meet him and ask him to help you? His wife's repeated requests moved him eventually. Sudama decided to visit Krishna in Dwaraka. He reached the palace of Krishna in Dwaraka. He told the royal guards that he wanted to meet his friend Krishna. The guards paid no attention to him. They could not believe that the person in rags would be the friend of their king. They did not allow him. At last one of the guards went to inform the king about Sudama. Krishna rushed to the royal gate as soon as he heard Sudama's name. He hugged his childhood friend and requested him to come in the palace. All were astonished to see the king hugging the poor man in rags. Sudama's wife had given him parched rice as a gift to Krishna. But Sudama was hesitant. Will it be suitable for king? He wondered. So he hid the pottery of parched rice. Krishna saw him hiding it. He grabbed and untied it. He and his queen ate the parched rice with great delight. Sudama had a warm welcome at the palace. He was given rich food and beautiful clothes. Krishna himself cared a lot for his friend's needs. Sudama was pleased. He wanted to tell Krishna about his poor condition, but his self-respect prevented him from doing so. Finally, Sudama returned home as poor as he was when he reached home. He was amazed to find a big palace in place of his old hut. He asked a man about the new and beautiful lighting. The man replied that it was Sudama's palace. Sudama could not believe it.